Hello! Welcome back to my channel. I am Armin Rose and I will be your guide as we go through the concepts of this course. If you have been watching before, you will notice that I have rebranded. We are now called Humans and Society. If you're new here, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. For this school year, we will start with the subject Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person. This is Lesson 1, the meaning of philosophy. Philosophy comes from two Greek words, philo, meaning love, and sophia, meaning wisdom. Therefore, philosophy translates to the love of wisdom, and philosophers are to be considered as lovers of wisdom. Philosophy is defined as the science that, by natural light of reason, studies the first causes or highest principles of all things. From this definition, we find four important points as highlighted. First, it is a science, meaning it is an organized body of knowledge derived from systematic investigation and observation. Second, it is based on reason, or a human being's natural capacity to think. Third, it is the study of all things. Philosophy is not limited to a particular subject or object. A philosopher questions everything to find meaning in anything. Finally, it is based on highest principles. Principles are the general or basic truths on which other truths are based. In philosophy, there are four basic principles. The first is the principle of identity, which states that whatever is, and whatever is not. Or in other words, I am what I am, and I'm not what I'm not. The second principle is the principle of non-contradiction. It is connected to the first principle in that it is impossible to be and not be at the same time. I cannot be what I am not. The third principle is the principle of excluded middle, which connects to the second principle in that there is no middle ground to being and not being. I am or I am not. I kind of am means that I still am, and I kind of am not means I'm still not. The fourth principle is the principle of sufficient reason, which states that nothing exists without reason. Anything and everything that is has a reason for being. If it has no reason to be, it will not exist. Now, philosophy has 5 branches: metaphysics, ethics, epistemology, logic, and aesthetics. We will discuss each of them in detail. The first branch of philosophy is metaphysics. It is concerned with knowing what is real and seeks to answer questions like who am I, what is it, and where am I? It talks about the concepts of reality and appearance. Reality is what exists, and appearance is what we perceive through our senses. Examples of topics covered by metaphysics are mind and matter. We know we have a brain, and its biological function is to control our mind, but we don't know how our mind works. We also know that everything is matter, but we don't know what matter really is. The second branch of philosophy is ethics. It explores the nature of moral virtue and evaluates human actions. It is concerned with answering the question, what should I do? And it talks about the concepts of right and wrong. But whereas religion motivates individuals to obey the moral code of society, philosophy insists that obedience to moral law may be given a rational foundation. We decide to do what is right, not because of a higher being or the promise of eternal salvation, but because we have decided that it is the proper behavior as a human being in that particular situation. The third branch of philosophy is epistemology. It is concerned with the nature, sources, limitations, and validity of knowledge. It is concerned with answering the questions, how do I know? Or more specifically, how can I learn? In forming knowledge, there are three types of reasoning we can use: inductive, deductive, and abductive. The steps of inductive reasoning include observation, analysis, and theory. Therefore, a general idea is formed from the examination of particular facts. For example, every time you eat peanuts, you start to cough, so you must be allergic to peanuts. In deductive reasoning, we begin with idea, followed by observation, and then conclusion. So here, general facts are used to explain particular events. For example, all even numbers are divisible by 2. 42 is an even number, therefore it is divisible by 2. Meanwhile, in abductive reasoning, we look at the evidence, match it with our prior knowledge, in order to come up with an explanation. So, we choose the hypothesis that would best fit the given facts. What is important is how the knowledge is going to be used, or its practicality. For example, a doctor can make a diagnosis on a patient based on test results, or a judge can hand out a decision after hearing the evidence of a case. There are three schools of thought in knowledge: empiricism, rationalism, and pragmatism. Empiricism is the view that knowledge can be attained only through sense experience. They use inductive reasoning in their arguments, and known empiricists include John Locke and David Hume. Rationalism is the view that real knowledge is based on logic, laws, and methods that reason develops. They use deductive reasoning in their arguments. Known rationalists include René Descartes and Gottfried Leibniz. Pragmatism is the view that the meaning and truth of an idea is tested by its practical consequences. They use abductive reasoning in their arguments. Known pragmatists include William James and John Dewey. The fifth branch of philosophy is logic. Logic does not provide knowledge. Its concern is the validity of our arguments or reasoning regarding our knowledge. It is concerned with answering the question, does it make sense? When something does not make sense, it is illogical. Aristotle created the logical method by combining the teachings of Socrates, Plato, and Zeno of Elea. The sixth branch of philosophy is aesthetics. It is the science of beauty and its various manifestations. It is concerned with answering the question, what do I like? Or what will make me happy? It talks about the concepts of taste and appreciation. We all know the saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what is beautiful to me may not be beautiful to you, and vice versa. Aesthetics is used to vitalize our knowledge so that we can find use in what we know. It helps us live more richly and deeply to nourish our soul. And it brings us in touch with our culture because our definition of beauty is largely defined by our culture. If we put all of these together, it sums up to we find meaning in our lives. In attaining wisdom, there is a need for emptying. Emptying can be intellectual, spiritual, or physical. We will learn only if we accept that we do not know. Socrates is considered as one of the wisest men in history, and he believes that the only true wisdom that man possesses is knowing that he knows nothing. So, empty your cup and let us keep learning. The ideas presented in this video are based on the content standards of the Department of Education. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next lesson.